Saints Row famously never came out on PC as an Xbox 360 exclusive, but through the magic of emulation, the incredible Xenia Xbox 360 emulator may bring this undying classic to your PC. I know it brought it to mine, but I don't own a pad, and Xenia isn't exactly configured to work with keyboard and mouse, especially not mouse. There technically are ways to make your mouse compatible with Xenia, but I couldn't find a resolution to this problem, as depicted here. I knew, however, that Xenia may be configured to set specific keyboard keys as specific buttons on a pad, and without the use of any third-party programs. I checked specific virtual codes for specific buttons on Microsoft website, and then I used all 15 years of my experience as a gamer to develop a keyboard layout perfect for playing Saints Row 1 on keyboard only. And so I decided to share this experience with you and to eventually finish the whole game of Saints Row 1 2006 on keyboard only. Doing that, I will provide you with a view not only on the game, but also on my hands and on my keyboard. I really wanted some basics to work exactly as they work in modern games. So, regarding on-foot controls, I set walking to WASD and jumping on spacebar, and then I thought out the rest around that. So, as I have no access to mouse, I needed keys to move the camera, separate from walking keys of course, and those keys should be somewhere where I would have an easy access to other keys. Because logically it would make a lot of sense to shoot with the same hand I use to aim. And so I set camera movement to IJKL and right trigger button to O, so it's always really close and easy to reach. As a right hand man, it would also let me to walk with my left hand as with normal setup, and to aim and shoot with my right hand, as I would if I had an access to mouse. What about the rest though? So the use button I set to F. That would be a Y button on an Xbox pad. The button A on an Xbox pad was automatically set to the semicolon, which I tried to change, but in the end it came out that it made a perfect sense. And I will explain why later. The Xbox button B used in-game to open equipment, I set to the N key, so it would be easy to reach with my right hand without occupying my left hand, and thus allowing me to run while changing weapons. I also assigned sprint to E, so it's easy to reach with the hand I control running with. So this is my protagonist, and the only thing left to do is to make him less fit. That's because I like to change how my characters look like during the progression of the game for immersion reasons. So I will make him gain muscle while he actually starts to live this very intense, demanding gang lifestyle, and that's about perfect. There he is, a simple nobody, unaware that his life is about to change forever.
Hector says buenas noches.
You okay, player?
The thing to do now is to actually join the Saints, but I'm not about to do this just yet. First, I wanted to steal a cab and demonstrate that in this control scheme, the semicolon key is actually used for accelerating, and spacebar for braking and driving backwards. If I want to have W as running forward button when on foot, as well as the spacebar as jump button when on foot, I can't really change that. I'm sure it will add some exciting challenges to this playthrough. Now let's go mutilate some civilians. As you can see, spamming the O button is a relatively efficient strategy for fighting with unarmed, unskilled pedestrians. I will show you fighting some actual gangbangers soon enough. committing violent crimes helped me to get my hands on some cash, and now I intend to spend it on alcohol. Selecting consumables from the equipment menu is done by pressing Shift and WASD. The time came to actually join the Saints.
Fuck yeah! Who the fuck's this guy?
During the canonization I might have panicked a bit and forgot how to block. In this situation I had no other choice but to resort to spamming the attack button. At first the fight looked promising, but very soon problems with aiming became apparent, and that was the factor that in the end decided the outcome of the whole fight. Thankfully, they took the player in regardless. After that, I realized that before the first mission I messed around for so long that the store I am supposed to buy my first weapon in was closed. Thankfully, the cashier wasn't sleeping and he was kind enough to sell me the weapon even though I broke into the store through the closed doors. And so, in his first action, player managed to sneak up to some Vice Kings and open fire. Aiming itself came out to be not as difficult as I expected. Sure, moments of panic happened and bullets were lost, but I think I adapted rather quickly, and the main difficulty remained the urge to grab the mouse. Anyway, after the shootout, player grabbed a Vice King vehicle and managed to leave the area without further issues. And that's how he earned his first flat. Soon after, he also got his first car, and now, with his own vehicle and a nice place to live, the most important thing to take care of was his drip. He headed to a local clothes store where he purchased garments that would help him demonstrate his gang affiliation. It's time to do some activities.
Look, you looking for a little something, something?
And while acquiring some additional workers for the Saints wasn't very challenging, it ended up with delivering some serious damage to player's car. Unfortunately, fixing it removed this decorative layer of rust from it. I bet some would find this pretty, but in my opinion, player's car definitely lost some character. Next thing I decided to try was getting some cars for a Saints friend. I thought that this way I would be able to test my aiming skills while driving, and it actually became a serious problem. Shooting on foot was definitely easier than shooting while driving. In the meantime, I thank God for aim assist, while thinking that this may become a serious issue later, especially with West Side Rollers missions, which involve a lot of riding and shooting, and I even began to wonder if the last Los Carnales mission, famous for its difficulty, based exactly on driving and shooting at the same time, would be even doable on this setup. I decided to quit the game after the highly unfair task of delivering a taxi. To my defense, I can only say that its previous owner clearly didn't know how to drive, or maybe he was also driving using keyboard only. That would be all for this video. Now you can also play Saints Row 1 on PC on keyboard only. And you may record yourself doing this in real time, for the amusement of your close ones. Good night.
It is an honor to meet you. It is rare in this country to find someone with your tenacity.
这里面的人
Contained inside are the specifics about a group of men who have wronged my family. Go and speak to them, but they are not to be harmed.
He heard me wrong. I wish for them all to be dead.